Hey everyone, Pan Bam Richard here, and welcome to the Bomberman Hero playthrough. In the last episode, we finished Area 2 and defeated Nitros. In this episode, we will actually be finishing off the rest of Area 2 here. So, we're gonna start off with the Red Cave here, and for the rest of the map, we're just going to be going for the full 5 this time. Honestly, if you were to go through the map regularly, you would have been able to have gone to the alternate route that this, stage would provide, and personally I feel like the regular route you go through here is more so the secretive route. Even though they put it out with an arrow, you're more inclined as a gamer to just go through the stage normally and see every nook and cranny without taking the shortest shortcut, unless like it's like one of your first video games and you don't really care about that kind of stuff. But yeah, like every single playthrough that I go through, every single playthrough that I have with this game, I always, essentially just, just get all that I can here, and, I always go to the next stage each time, especially with my first playthrough, as opposed to seeing the stage up there. But yeah, at this time with this playthrough of this level, we're actually going to destroy all the enemies and get all the points here. There aren't going to be any bonus points of the sort because we've already collected all of the ad hoc bombs in this area here. So, honestly, it's pretty much like more of the same from what we've seen instead. But instead, we're just trying to get more of the points here. So we can do that by destroying these bombs here and pick up this gem over here. So very self-explanatory platforming from here on forward. From what I recall, though, there isn't really much of a surprise to the latter half of this stage here. I mean, you don't want to do crap like that, but it's been a while since I've actually played this game, but answer usual comment about not having to record a game for quite some time. But, you know, with that aside, essentially it's just more the same. Just gotta, like, find the crannies here to get the gems and, break off, all the enemies. It's, alright. Let's just, focus a little bit here. There we go. Alright, so when it comes to this game's soundtrack, there was another game that I was playing recently that did have a pretty funky techno soundtrack, and that was like Strider, actually, the Strider game that came out in 2014. But that's for another story altogether, and here we go. 5,500 points to get our 5 rank. Yep, that's the only replay we're doing because we have now unlocked this level, Big Cannon. And Big Cannon here introduces us to the next of our power gear items, or power gear equips. In this case, we have the Bomber Jet. Just to go over what the Bomber Jet is essentially what the Bombermarine controls, except you're now in the air. But the main difference between the two is that the Bomber Jet can only go forward. You can't go backwards at all. So think of it as like a harder version of what the Bombermarine is. So you're constantly going forward, and that encourages you as the player to make sure to get all the points that you can here. And you want to do that by not missing any of the enemies. But the target score here is 7k. Thankfully, there is a way to sort of essentially get past that limit, and it's in the form of these birds. These birds here, they don't count for the target score because they constantly go forward. So the designers of this game realized that the birds are enemies that a player can easily miss on their first playthrough. So they do have some mercy with regards to that. So they're kind of akin to how the mines were in the Bombermarine level we played in the last episode. But you still need to make sure that you pick up those gems. And you can't go backwards, but as I demonstrated previously, you can stop temporarily by pressing the B button. But you still need to make sure that you are still in line with your items and whatnot. And yeah, missing that red gem is going to be something for sure. But thankfully with the birds, it does give you a bit of leeway for what you can skip. You just gotta make sure you have a good aim each time that you get them. I do certainly want that. Oh wow. Oh, okay. Thank goodness. I'm glad that we actually got that and we didn't miss it. So, yeah, just constantly shoot the birds here. They don't count towards your target score, to give you some leeway for the final score here. I think these, those orb enemies actually do count towards the target score, so you don't want to miss that. pressing the... Oh, jeez. Pressing the A button does make you accelerate a bit, but you really don't want to do that in these Bomberman jet... these bomber jet sections, unless, like, you know, there isn't really anything in the way that you can avoid, essentially. Or that you don't really need to miss. Oh, jeez, there was a red gem there that we missed. That was 2 red gems, so that's 500 points. But we're still doing fine in terms of points so far. These birds certainly do give quite a bit of points here, but missing 2 red gems is certainly something, that's for sure. So, get more of these orb enemies over here, and get ourselves another heart. So, thankfully, I think the boss at the end here does give 1,000 points. So, as long as we're in the 6,000 threshold, we should be fine. And with these birds here, I don't really have much to worry about, I guess. So, here's the boss, air quotes, of this part here. Draw distance, be damned. We have ourselves the big cannon. Yes, name of the stage after all. I've always thought it was Big Canyon, like every single time I would take a glimpse at it, but yeah, it's certainly not. And it's a very simple boss fight. You have mini boss fight. You have quite a lot of free range to move around. You can destroy the cannon. Clearly, I demonstrated otherwise by horribly running into that mine, and there you go. 7.7k, enough to get ourselves the 5 rank of this stage. Alright, so that's it for this area here. So now we're going to be going into area 3 here with the Clown Valley. Target score here is 3,000 points. However, our first ad hoc bomb is here. It's a very small stage, but it definitely does make up for it in terms of its elevation. So our ad hoc bomb is actually all the way up here. So that's an easy extra 50 points right there. One thing that I do always do whenever I play through this stage is that I would be targeting these clowns from the cliff here, because while they may seem harmless from here, when they get off their ball, they become a lot more deadlier. So you want to try to kill them while they're on the ball, because if they get off their ball, they throw knives at you pretty swiftly. And considering how Bomberman's mobility is in this game and how stiff it is sometimes, it does prove itself to be a bit of an issue. I might show that off once we get to that second clown over there, because there's no way for me to aim my bombs towards him, even with the maximum radius I have to get him off his ball. Other than the elevation here, it's another very to the number stage. Again, this is the first planet, so it doesn't really throw much at you in terms of difficulty, but it is to be expected in the first level after all. So we're going to take the cliffs up over here to gain access to the bridge right here. Some basic dodging here with all of the electronic obstacles. There we go. Alright. So this clown here, if I destroy the ball underneath them, which I'm probably going to do now he's going to be a lot more lethal with his... Okay, maybe they're not as agile as I recall, but I don't know. I just remember being pretty intimidated by these clowns because of how big the knives are and the odd noises that it would produce. Like those sound effects, I don't think you ever hear that sound effect anywhere else. Well, not the throwing one, the sound that that winds him up for when he throws the knife. And okay, that's interesting. He actually regenerates his other state if you go off screen and come back. So that's actually kind of intriguing. Oh, jeez. 2 clowns. It's kind of interesting. I've never actually done this here before. Okay. I never gone into that scenario before. Okay, this is interesting. Alright, thankfully, damaging them with the bomb does leave them a little bit vulnerable, but that was a very nasty scenario. Okay. I like how I was talking about, oh yeah, how easy is this part, but then I totally get distracted by these clowns that I, for some reason, am having quite some trouble with. I'm going to attribute that to the recording curse, even though, I don't know. You see, you can't even reach the clown from here, so you really have to sort of like bite the bullet and make sure that they don't run you over. Or you could try from here again, but the knives are going to take you out. Let's try to be a bit more careful here. No, this isn't going to work. Maybe we could just get them just like this. Very nice. So the clowns do take 2 hits. The ball does take a hit on itself there too. I wonder if I could just get this clown like this. There we go. I think this will work. Very nice. I really gotta be careful of my blast radius here, because one hit... it's gonna suck if I actually die at this point here, but I think I should be fine. Alright, there we go. Okay, so that's it for Clown Valley. For some reason got a huge struggle there, but that's the target point threshold, and we got our 5 rank. Okay, next up we have Great Rock. Great Rock is another elevation stage, but it's a lot smaller than Clown Valley in terms of ground distance, but hey, it does train you to practice your platforming. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the hit here right now, so that way I could regenerate my health here. I can't remember how many hearts there are, but I'd be pretty crushed if I were to redo the stage again without having to redo the stage again due to the lack of health power-ups there may be in this level. My blast radius goes down by 1, but it's not a big deal. 3 is still very decent. Actually, generally when I do face bosses in this game, I do like to keep my blast radius to 3, because it does give me some more space to maneuver in the battlefields, especially when you're facing nitros, where blast radius, I mean, it is a very empty field, but it would be faster if you do have a 3 blast radius, at least from what I find, compared to a 4. Okay, so yeah, a lot of this stage is all about the elevation. The target score, I believe, is 3.5. We do also have our second Addock bomb here as well. But in order to get that, we do have to fall off a cliff in order to get to a platform that we wouldn't be able to access otherwise. So, let me get rid of this stump right over here. Alright. Like I mentioned in the first episode, there aren't really that many Bomberman games where he can jump on his own. Like, other Bomberman games would either have him jump by a random object, or in Bomberman 64's case, it's all about, like, jumping across bombs that you place across gaps. And... oh, jeez! Yeah, that was very bad. But, in any case, it's just interesting to see a Bomberman game where Bomberman can jump. I can only think of this game and Pocket Bomberman, the one that you could also play on the Game Boy Color. Well, it would get color enhancements on the Game Boy Color. And yeah, it's just, I can't think of any other Bomberman games where he can actually jump. And it's nice to see every now and then, but the grid-based combat that Bomberman's all about does give him that identity. So I don't know, maybe I would like to see Hudson, or I guess now Konami in this case. There's the other Addock bomb, by the way. I would like to see Konami take another shot at this sort of style, because well, I mean, granted, considering how well Super Bomberman R is going, I mean, maybe they might be a bit more experimental, but considering how, like, N64 games or N64 or franchises that do transition to a 3D console, they do try to, like, encourage companies to try to 3D platforming thing, because that's what made Super Mario 64 successful, as well with what's the other one, Banjo-Kazooie. By the way, you want to make sure you gotta go to the far right before you get nearly close to that arrow, because I've had the stage end on me without having to get this rainbow gem over here. I feel like it's a bit of a beginner's trap, because look how close you can be in order to end the stage. Pretty close. You'd think you go a little bit further than that, but yeah, so that's our target score, and that leads us to our next route here, our next stage, Fog Route, which is also 3.5k points. Yeah, demonstrating the Crash Bandicoot style of level design, we have ourselves Fog, a great way to excuse draw distance, but you know, every 3D platformer around this time has to have a fog level, or unless if you're not like a Mario game or something like that. Alright, in the meantime, there are some parts of the stage where you do encounter... oh, this is a bit of a hidden gem right there, no pun intended, but there are a couple of partitions of this level where, yes, that happens, spikes protrude, so you really need to be cautious with how you maneuver from there on forward. I love how they put one gem right here, all the way at the bottom here. It's like a little bit tight, but you managed to get it just fine. Let's see here. Let's destroy this cannon right over here. So those totem poles that totem pole that you saw there, like, or saw earlier, basically you gotta go close to it to activate it, and sort of like goad it to it falling. And let's destroy these 2 bombs here. We need to do that for the points, and one of the rare occasions where the Black Bomber does help out here. I mean, it's odd how like only White Bomber and Black Bomber are the only bombers that you see in this game. At least in, well, yeah, like in the base and whatnot. More on that later on as we progress through the game, but it kind of makes me wonder, like, if this was going to be the Bonk game that it was. I don't know much about the Bonk franchise itself, but it kind of makes me wonder who would take Black Bomber's role as, like, the flight support. But one day I should maybe try a Bonk, we'll see. Okay, so we're gonna get these gems here. We got ourselves some more spikes protruding, but there's also invisibility vest over here. I don't think there are spikes here. Okay, I'm thinking further down the stage, but gotta avoid that trap just fine there. And oh, I think the spike trap, yep, there it is. So right below the one up there. There we go. We do need to get the one up for our target score here. Make the totem pole fall again. Come on, a little bit closer. There we go. Alright, so the draw distance does certainly encourage you to explore a lot, because there is a certain point where you can't really climb back to where you were previously. So you gotta make sure that you collect everything until that certain point, and that certain point is right over here. So this is the point of no return from here on forward, but we should be fine though. I kind of wish the Adok Bomb was here, personally, instead of the previous level, but you know, it is what it is. This is a small little mini-boss, air quotes, not really much of a mini-boss, really. Honestly, the strategy here is to just, like, hide back here, goad him into attacking by jumping closer, and then, like, he'll never be able to fire past the small inlet of ground you're standing on. So I think it may take, like, 5 bombs to kill him, and his projectiles can be destroyed as well, so... Oh, great, lovely. Okay. So one more should seal the deal there, and I think there should be another... Wait, why do we have 50 extra points? Is it because of the 1-up? Huh, that's weird, I've never had 50 extra points in this stage before. But in any case, we got ourselves the target score over 50, and we are now fighting the boss of Planet Bomber, the final boss of Planet Bomber, who is Endol. Endol's boss fight is certainly final stage 1 boss, that's for sure. But the target score for these boss fights, like I mentioned previously for Nitros, is very tight. It took me like maybe 6 or 7 attempts to get the 5 rank in my practice file, so if I don't get it here, I'm not gonna be that bothered by it, but I'm gonna try to do it because it's gonna be 7.5, and there's a certain frame at the beginning where, like, you can't really damage him because he's starting his, like, little animation. Endol's kind of weird fish eel thing, I don't know, electric eel fish, something along those lines, and has, like, 2 tongs for hands. His whole gimmick is all about electricity, and, yeah, as you can see there, I mean, it's just a story for a platform. There isn't really much to say, but ultimately, this boss has 2 phases. First phase is all about dodging these, electrical beams that you'll see right now here, and you gotta, like, jump and throw. So, see, this small frame here is already, like, going down by 200 points of time there, and you start off with 9990 for your timer, but it's just unfortunate how, like, the timer has to start while the boss was starting up. I feel like if they were to start the timer at the moment where you could actually damage him, it would have been a bit more lenient there. But now, second phase here, he's just gonna try to move towards you. When his hair goes up, essentially that means he's going to shoot a bolt of lightning towards you. So all you gotta do is just, like, run towards the right when that happens. But then, look at this. It's already at, like, 7.5k, and because it got hit twice, I already lost the time in order to get the 5 rank. That was pretty much my bad, personally, but I don't mind getting the 4 rank here. I'll get a 5 rank off screen or something along those lines. But, yep, there's our 4 rank here, and we managed to finish off Planet Bomber. So, our next destination, we'll be using the bomber plane here. Don't know where Black Bomber is to help us out. We're going to be going to Primus Star, where Princess Milian came from. and see what we can do from there. So even the game knows that's just a very basic plot. There's not really much else to build here. Piebot's like, let's just go to the next level and experience some more wonderful 3D platforming action. So as we blast off here with White Bomber and Piebot, that will be the end of this episode. So for the next episode, we'll be going to Planet 2 Primus. But before we do that, every single time you finish a planet, it'll grade you. So because I didn't get all 5s, I got a silver rank. You could get bronze rank, bronze, silver, or gold, or nothing. But actually, there's something I did forget here. We get ourselves a bonus stage. You can only play bonus stages once per playthrough, so you don't gain access to it thereafter. Depth perception is a bit tricky here for this level, but I think we're able to do this just fine and dandy here. The amount of time that you have left over will also contribute to your lives, I think. Just give me a moment as I try to climb back up here, because the final gems are on top of this small structure that I'm standing on. Maybe I should go from the left. There you go. Come on, use your head a little bit. Okay, so use this platform over here to climb further up. Please and thank you. And voila! I guess you don't really get much from the points there, but yes, on to the next planet will be the beginning of our next episode. So, next episode will be tackling Planet 2 Primus. Until then, take care.